Good evening. Welcome to your local district meeting, and thanks for coming out tonight. You've just seen a lot of words that everyone at Central Texas Electric Cooperative believes are important. Words that we live by every day. These words reflect the character of the cooperative as well as the people of the hill country that we serve. I think we can all agree that we love this place we call home. Your co-op is about service to our communities. The reliable delivery of electricity is something we all have come to depend on. But more than that, we depend on people who make that a reality. During my 9 years on the board, I've learned a lot about what it takes to operate and manage a modern utility. Decisions are constantly made that ensure excellent service while managing the costs that provide that service. There are looming issues and challenges in the electric industry of Texas that will affect us locally as well as on a statewide level. The biggest question we're facing is, will there be enough power for everyone all the time?
Our state has seen a tremendous amount of growth in the past few decades. During the same time, not enough generation plants were built. In February of 2011, there was an extreme demand on the power grid in Texas, and because of cold temperatures, some gas-fired plants went what we call offline. This perfect storm caused rolling outages across Texas. It was also a stark warning of what the future might look like if we do not address this situation soon. Almost every electric meter in Texas is connected to the statewide grid that is regulated by an entity called ERCOT, which stands for the Electric Reliability Council of Texas. When there is not enough power to meet the demand, ERCOT is responsible for making the decision to initiate rolling outages across the state. These rolling outages are usually rotated on a 15 to 30-minute interval.
Central Texas Electric Co-op and every other electric distribution company in the state have no control over when and where these rolling outages occur. Rolling outages are a protective measure that keeps the statewide grid from total failure. If that happened, it would take a significant amount of time, many hours, to get the entire system back online. And that is something that nobody wants to experience. Since ERCOT initiates rolling outages and they cannot give Central Texas Electric any advance warning of what areas are going to be affected, it is impossible for us to notify our members when their electric service will be shut off. But members can stay informed when conditions are approaching potential outage levels by many means of communications. ERCOT provides information on their website, via Facebook, Twitter, and a new mobile phone application that is available for smartphones. If forecasts indicate that rolling outages are likely, other media sources such as radio and television will advise the public of the situation. If the outage of February 2011 demonstrated anything, it was that communication to the public is critical.
The next question folks usually ask, is there anything I can do to help the situation? I like to think back when I was a kid and my parents always told me, turn off the lights when you leave a room. That's very simple and wise advice for us today. If you don't need it, don't use it. Here's a good example. When you leave a bathroom, do you leave the water running? Why would you leave the electricity running? If you follow this advice, you will save power and lower your electric bill at the same time. Habits like these become even more important during times of peak energy consumption, which in the summertime is the hottest part of the day. The load on the state grid normally starts to climb around 2 in the afternoon and reaches its peak between 4 to 7 in the evening. This is a critical time across the state, and if folks practice energy conservation, especially during these times, it could help reduce the possibility of rolling outages. This may seem like a small thing, but multiplied by thousands of CTEC members and millions of Texans, it could have a dramatic effect and quite possibly prevent loss of power.
So how do we do this? How do we conserve electricity? The biggest user of electricity in your home is your air conditioner. Now, I'm not here to tell you where to set your thermostat, but if you can, set your unit 2 or 3 degrees higher. If we all do the same, The savings on your bill and to the peak load will be significant. And here's a tip. If you have ceiling fans, turn them on and it will feel like it's 3 degrees cooler. There are a number of other things you can do to save electricity. For those of you who have swimming pools, be sure to turn off your pool pump during times of peak usage. A little known fact is that a pool can use as much electricity as your entire house. Another significant user of electricity is large appliances like dishwashers, clothes washers, and dryers. Of course, you can run these appliances at any time, but during the summer, wait until after 7 if at all possible. This will help reduce the demand on the grid during peak times. Have you ever noticed all of the little colored lights you have on in your house that glow both day and night? Things like cell phone chargers, battery chargers, and a whole army of other devices. These are known as phantom power users. They should be unplugged anytime they are not in use. If you would like to eliminate a whole bunch of them at the same time, put them on a power strip and turn it off.
Here's the bottom line. If you're not using it, turn it off or unplug it. It is my belief that if we all pitch in and do a little, we can all do our part in preventing rolling outages this year and in the near future. So an important question is, how did we get into this mess? Well, we are faced with a situation where energy demand could exceed supply. And we've been headed this direction since the Texas electric utility industry was deregulated in the mid-1990s. As I said earlier, energy demand has been growing steadily over the past decades, and we have added very little generation in the state of Texas. The lack of development and construction of new power plants can be attributed to uncertain environmental regulations and profitability concerns for investors. Until it is clear how pending and future environmental regulations will affect generating plants, investors are not likely to build them. The solution to this problem is very complex and is currently being studied by business, government, and regulators. I would say that if folks find it inconvenient to be without power on a hot day in August, they may want to consider letting their elected officials know that now is the time for action. Another thing I've been asked several times is if I had a generator, would my lights have gone out? The likely answer is yes. These generators sell fast in the aftermath of big hurricanes and are now being considered by some members to offset the threat of rolling outages. A typical home would require a generator size of about 15 kW to fully power it. Most commercially available generators are in the range of 1 to 5 kW and are standalone units, which means you cannot use more than one at a time. Simple math tells you that you're not going to power a lot of things in your home during a rolling outage with a unit like this. And this does not even begin to touch the safety issues of firing up a generator without your cooperative knowing that you're putting power back into the lines. Most generators are usually not installed, but rather jury-rigged and are dangerous to the homeowner. One outcome that folks may not be aware of is the possibility of the generator tripping off or shutting down because your home is still connected to the co-op distribution system. Unless you disconnect your service from the system, the generator will think it needs to feed demand outside your home and will immediately trip out when starting. Before you go purchase one of these generators and think it will work, give us a call and let us help you make a wise decision. If a member is interested in a backup system that would power their home during a rolling outage, they should be willing to spend in the neighborhood of $15,000 to $20,000. And that's just for the installation. There will be additional costs for upkeep and maintenance. One topic we've talked about during the past several years is our power contract with the LCRA. We are still 4 years away from completely parting ways with them. As we've told you recently, we have secured power through 2021 with CPS Energy. In addition, we have recently signed a contract with NextEra Energy for 20 megawatts through 2023. This represents about 15% of our load and has brought some additional savings to our anticipated future power costs. The board and I believe that CTEC is as well positioned as any utility in Texas for providing reliable, low-cost power into the future.
Central Texas Electric Cooperative works for and because of you, our members. And we appreciate you taking the time to come out this evening to attend your district meeting. We also look forward to seeing you at the annual meeting in the Fredericksburg High School Auditorium on Tuesday, August 21st. We are already busy preparing updates on the activities of your co-op. Your being here tonight shows you care, and we appreciate it.